I want to talk to you about the concept that building the second brain is actually covering, because that's the bit that when I came across it, and I didn't read the book first. I found it on YouTube, I think, like lots of people talking about how they were using it. And this isn't a book written for people with neurodiversity or a concept that's necessarily for people with neurodiversity, but it really rang true for me with regards to how it can work for people with neurodiversity. Because if you're anything like me, you are you have constantly been searching for like the system that's going to sort your life out. Don't get me wrong, this isn't gonna sort your life out, and this isn't talking about the system. Instead, what it talks about is how you need to think about finding systems and ways that work for you. For me, it felt like a way of structuring your systems. And also what I really loved about it is that it's not advocating to use a system, find the thing that works for you, because in reality it doesn't exist. Instead, it talks about using the best system in any particular area that works for you. And what that gives you is, and this is what I think is great for us with neurodiversity, when you then come across a piece of information and you think, oh, I want to keep this, or I want to do something with it, or I want to remember it, you'll know where to put that information. The other thing I think is great about the concept of building a second brain is that it allows for this idea that there is no one system that does it all, that we just need to find. It's an ecosystem of systems and strategies that together forms the perfect system for you. But that's the key thing. It's the perfect system for you. It's going to be completely bespoke to you and your needs. And that's what I like it, because when I coach people about how to organize themselves or what's the best way to do X, Y, Z, and before people start coaching with me, the question I get might be, what is the best system, or how do I do this? And as a authentic, ethical coach, I can't answer that without actually understanding more about what works best for your brain, what lights it up, what makes it motivated and interested in stuff, because we have passion-led brains, right? They're completely interest-led. So me just suggesting a system to you isn't necessarily going to be the thing that allows you to be productive or be better organized. What the book does really well as what this method really is, it breaks down what it is we're doing at all stages of kind of organization and productivity. It uses a fair amount of acronyms, but and I'm not going to cover them all, but I'm going to mention code, CODE, because that's kind of the main overarching principle. And it's very simple. It's about, where do you capture information? So C stands for capture. O stands for organizing. How do you organize it? Where do you put it? D stands for distilling, because obviously we're putting loads of stuff at the top of the funnel, right? So where is it actually going to go? Now, this doesn't have to mean that you then go in and redo it and relook at everything. It can mean that if you're into that, but it doesn't have to. E stands for express. And that's what I like to call like the creative output, because a lot of the time when we save information, it is because we want to use it for something. We don't want to forget it, or we want to reference it. So it really has a place, expressing and creating an output of all of that work is very often why we actually have a system. Like, how can we access it? What are we going to do with it? And when we're going to do that, where is it? So code is kind of the overarching way of looking at this way of building a second brain. You don't necessarily need to read the book in order to understand a little bit more about the concept of building a second brain. I actually think it's really aptly named as well, because if I say to somebody with ADHD or any other neurodiversity that there's a concept called building the second brain, just the name just gets people excited. That's exactly what I need. My brain is a little bit scattered. Let me have a second one. Maybe that's better. But to be fair, it is a little bit like that as well. You don't necessarily need to read the book in order to get the concepts. So if videos and YouTube is a better place for you to go, there is absolutely loads of stuff on YouTube, and different people having set up their second brain in different ways using different technology, but also some that are using physical systems. So if you are somebody So if you are somebody who's neurodivergent, you might prefer to start on YouTube and see what other people have done. I know that's often my preferred, because it just gives you an idea of how people are using it. I often work backwards when reading books. I tend to maybe listen to a podcast with the author and go, actually, that sounds really interesting. I'll read the book. And then if the book's really good, I say read the book. I usually listen to the book first. And then if the book's really good, I then tend to get it on Kindle or even physical, which was the case with this, which is why it qualifies for a book recommendation, for lack of a better word. But it's all about understanding the system of building a second brain. Let me know how you get on. I'd love to hear other neurodivergent people trying this, and let me know what they think.